You might want to fire some questions at this guy that's coming up on the show. He's really good at beating people up, Eric. I mean, it's just unbelievable. He's a former UFC world champion. He is the king of Bloodsport, the most unique event at WrestleMania. It just can't beat it, man. You cannot beat it. And GCW I can't even talk. GCW presents Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 15. Once again, Friday, April 17th, 3 p.m. at the Horseshoe. Let's bring in the War Master himself, Josh Barnett. Good to see you again, my friend.
Good to see you as well. Good morning.
How you all awake, ready to go?
Yeah, I've had my cups of coffee.
Okay. I wish I'd had a couple cups of coffee. I'm just doing iced tea. I'm trying to keep it in the middle there. Nobody wants me on coffee. It's be very, very bad. But
scary.
Eric knows that. He's seen me in the morning way too many times. But Josh, another great event stacking up here for Bloodsport. Before we get into the card that is just becoming absolutely loaded, tell everybody a little bit about the concept of Bloodsport and why is it different from everything else that we're going to see here in Las Vegas WrestleMania week?
Because at the very least, I think the easiest ways to explain it is how professional wrestling was, not what people have come to know what professional wrestling is. But within that, it's a show where we've stripped away all the extra superfluous sort of over the top aspects of it, the melodramatic and the histrionic side of things, and really distilled it down to the most intense, the most important and base and functional parts of professional wrestling, which is seeing a competition between two combatants with their reasons to get into that ring, be it just to see who's best or to solve a feud or just a very simple motivations. But at the end of the day, they just have to get out there and fight. And within that, the stories and the drama and the pageantry will all be shown without all the excess, let's say, costumes and promo bits and backstages. It's just, we strip all the stuff away from what people think of as pro wrestling and just get really right down to what it really is at its root.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun to watch. And especially I wrestled in high school, so and continued to follow it. And it's just a very raw, intense experience. And we got to go last year and looking forward to it again this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I tell you what, you have got yourself a card. Just announced two of my favorites. Shayna Baszler and Nattie are going to be hooking it up. Mm-hmm. That must have been fun getting that one lined up because that is going to be outstanding.
I take a lot of time and effort into trying to put together the best cards I can. That doesn't always necessarily mean matchups that have never been done, but I do like to make that happen. Nattie versus Shayna, not exactly new territory. They've met each other many a time in the WWE ring, but also they've known each other since before Shayna was even a professional wrestler, because Nattie would come to town and I would put them two together and have them work on things. And I've been working with Nattie Neidhart for well over a decade in terms of helping add new skills and concepts and ideas to what she does. She's a real student of the game, just like Shayna is. And for them to meet in anywhere is a great match, but to meet in Bloodsport makes it something special. And it was a match that I really felt was important to put together for this card. And throughout the rest of the card, we have some matchups that are going to be brand new to folks, ones that never happened before, like Eric Stevens versus Fuminori Abe, and the crazy kid Takeda taking on Pete Dunne. I mean, these are things that just can't happen anywhere else. And we also pride ourselves in that it doesn't matter if you've seen Tim Thatcher take on Charlie Dempsey somewhere else. When these matches are in Bloodsport, what happened before makes no relevance because they're not the same match. Someone had brought up the Janai Kai versus Miyu Yamashita. Oh, well, they did this somewhere else. And I'm like, and she put a clip up and I'm like, that's great. Their match won't look like that at all. It won't even be anything alike. And that's something I try to really push through to these pro wrestling fans is when you think you've seen it all, you don't be so arrogant. You haven't. You've not seen it here. It's not going to be the same match. Nothing is like where what it was before, and it won't be the same thereafter. And if you don't see it here, you're not seeing this in this form, in this way, anywhere else.
Give us a couple names on the card that maybe American fans aren't as familiar with, but they should be excited to see.
Well, I mean, I've got even from top to bottom, like I try to build my card in a very logical and sensible way into a main event. That's the way events are supposed to be done, and a lot of times I feel like that gets lost in wrestling now. Like it doesn't really get considered or it doesn't get treated with the same sort of strength. So I build my cards from the ground up, starting with some athletes that you're not going to know of, like Angel Verduzco, who's a two-time Snake Pit World Catch Wrestling Champion, collegiate wrestler from Baker University in Kansas. He's been training catch and purple belt in BJJ, and he's won tons of grappling tournaments and sparred and trained and fought MMA. So you've got a fully well-rounded guy, and he's taken on Matt Mikowski. Matt Mikowski being kind of one of my secret weapons for Bloodsport, someone that I know is highly underrated, underutilized, and is capable of bringing the best to the ring at any given moment. Yeah, so I think someone like Matt Mikowski, and even the fact that you've got someone that people really aren't going to know about, but I know that by the end of that match, people are going to know both of their names. Same with Joe Deshu, who's a Greco-Roman wrestler. He won the ACWA Spring Open in catch wrestling at a tournament. He's done, he did like a fight to win, choked a guy out there. He's been training catch. He's got a Greco background. He went through the New Japan Academy. He went through both courses in his first entrance. They started him in the beginner, and he was moved to the advanced and went through both of them in the same go. So, he's a quick learner, and he's going to be taking on Ulka Sasaki. Now, Sasaki is a Noah guy, so that may reduce the amount of people familiar with his work. But the other thing where you might know him from is he fought in the UFC, and he fought in Rizin, and he used to fight in Shuto before that. So you have a very, very experienced guy, someone with a ton of ring experience, although it might not be the same amount of experience in the professional wrestling ring. He comes from this MMA side of things for nearly his entire career. So that's going to make a difference, especially in a place like Bloodsport. And Ray Jazz, who's going to be taking on Zack Sabre Jr. A lot of people are going to really know about Zack Sabre Jr., but they're really going to know about Ray Jazz after the match.
I can't wait to see that. Anything with Zack Sabre Jr. is just sensational. That guy can twist you like a pretzel in about a million ways. Just
and what better place for him to be than Bloodsport?
Absolutely. I'm down with it. Josh Barnett from Bloodsport. Once again, Bloodsport 15 is going to be here in Las Vegas over WrestleMania week, Friday, April 17th, 3 p.m. at the Horseshoe. Eric, maybe I'll bring somebody along and share my free parking.
That'd be very sweet of you.
That would. Eric, did you have a question for Josh?
Josh, pleasure to meet you.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone that you haven't gotten before that you want to get on one of your cards?
Oh, it's a long list.
Okay.
But you'll know it when I get them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's been several wrestlers that I've tried multiple times and it just hasn't been able to happen. And it's not just people from WWE. I know people love to create this narrative now and try to believe that everything runs that way when it doesn't. But I've tried to get a lot of wrestlers from Japan, wrestlers from companies you wouldn't expect, all kinds of athletes, and even trying to get people from outside of wrestling too at times. So I go out there. One of the people that inspired me as a booker was Akira Maeda and Antonio Inoki, because of their ability to go out there and find these athletes from places you would never expect. how does one discover a Volkan unless you've got the eye for it, if you know what I mean? Or how does one discover a Viktor Zangiev or a Salman Hashimikov or anything like that? You got to have the ability to see that talent even in places that no one else would look. And I'm inspired by that.
I'll give you one name though, because I know it's hard to get people, but please get Bo Nickel in here sometime. I love
he's got
Bo.
he's got a UFC contract. I don't. That could be its own can of worms to try and get him to do a pro wrestling match. I know he's done RAF, right? So
yep.
Perhaps, I don't know. You never know.
I will harass him on X until he does it, just for you, because I care. I'm a big Penn State guy, so I'd love to see that happen sometime. Explain about catch style wrestling. If for fans that may not be familiar with that, what are the differences between that and what we typically see in a WWE or an AEW?
Well, I mean, catch wrestling is for one, it's the root style of folk style. Folk style is absolutely and directly derived from catch. Most wrestling, a lot of times in these regional styles, would be as soon as you get a turnover, the match is over, or as soon as somebody is touching more than just say the bottoms of their feet on the ground, the match is over. But with catch, you continued to the floor and you kept wrestling, and you had the ability to use submissions to try and get your opponent to give up, or to use them to try and turn over your opponent. And with that, once it hit the shores of the US, and it was also the base style for how professional wrestling matches were conducted for the most part, it took on a life of its own and eventually was developed into folk style wrestling. And I've seen some people out there be like, oh, freestyle wrestling is the direct descendant of catch. And it's like, well, no, they called it freestyle wrestling in an Olympic games once, but it was catch. They called it freestyle because they wanted to delineate it from any other kind of regional or tribal or ethnic style that was out there that people were doing. And then it had a broader rule set. But that freestyle and the freestyle wrestling we see in the Olympics are not the same. They're not even alike. Just the same as like Greco-Roman was actually invented by the French. So it is not actually Greco or Roman, but that's okay, because it does comprise some of the elements of some traditional folk styles of wrestling. So it's good for that. And bringing those competitors into a competition environment that they also show up with weapons to bear, and everybody can go and employ their various techniques that they've learned wherever they'd come from, no matter the style. If it was similar enough in terms of its upper body takedown emphasis, then yeah, you could go out there and succeed. But catch wrestling is, think of it, like folk style with submissions. Basically, you're collegiate wrestling, but with submission holds. So you've got all the riding and everything, but you don't wrestle on your back because you don't want to get pinned. But the other thing with catch was that we didn't have restrictions on submissions like jiu-jitsu did. So neck locks and leg locks and all these things. And I know people think of jiu-jitsu and leg locks now as like a normal thing, but that's only been over the last maybe 10 years. Nearly the entirety of jiu-jitsu's known modern history involves zero leg locks and absolutely zero neck locks. And in fact, leg locks of a certain degree were and have been always allowed in jiu-jitsu. It's just that in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, they would call you cheap or a cheater or whatever for using them, even when they were legal back in the day. It really, that stigma only went away very, very recently.
Interesting. How did you get involved and get the respect of the pro wrestling community? Because, being a UFC champion, I'm sure brings the credibility almost right away. But one thing that I've noticed when you're around a lot of pro wrestlers, man, they really do look up to you and they listen to you. Where did that all come from?
Well, I think some of it comes just from the fact of just treating people the way I do, doing business the way I do, and being a professional, which I know that sounds like a cliche thing to say, or like, wow, why would that make it? I mean, wouldn't that really apply to most people? I suppose most folks feel like they're being respectful and professional and what have you. But you'd be surprised, to be perfectly honest, how rare that can be, depending on any given day or any given context. So I really do pride myself on trying to be a really upstanding person when it comes to promoting this stuff and putting these things together, and trying to do things in a way and make these athletes feel like they're respected, they're heard, and that they're dealing with somebody that's one of their own. Bloodsport was a show built for wrestlers. It is wrestler centric, wrestler focused, and wrestler first. The other thing, I guess, would be that, I have my accolades and my history as an MMA fighter, but I cut my teeth under Antonio Inoki in New Japan, and was taken under and mentored by him. I've spent lots of time training with him. I spent lots of time training on the road in New Japan, touring with those guys, learning from people like Chono and Nagata and Liger and all these different athletes, which has been something that has allowed me access to New Japan athletes like Yuji Nagata, who will be performing at Bloodsport, will be stepping into the ring.
Yeah.
One of the longest reigning IWGP heavyweight champions of all time, and a legend of our sport. And from there, I've also trained under Carl Gotch and Billy Robinson, and I have a pedigree that shows that I have lived and breathed the business. And even when I was an MMA fighter, I'd walk to the ring, whether it said it on the bottom of the screen or not, because often they would change it to something else like catch wrestling or whatever, but I would always put my fighting style as professional wrestling. And they would, there's a few times it's come out, but most of the time they would change it to something else. They didn't want it to seem like, oh, well, this guy's not doing pro wrestling in the ring, but yeah, I see myself as a pro wrestler. I fight for the entertainment of the fans. And whether I'm shooting or working, it's just the same stuff.
There you go. Eric, you have any questions for Josh?
I'm trying to think right now. After this show on April 17th, when's your next one?
No idea.
No idea? Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious, because I'm going to be tuning in more often now that I have more free time. Now that March Madness is over.
Josh, just stay and do a few more shows in Las Vegas. Just hang out.
If possible, who knows? But at the moment, we nothing planned. No follow up yet.
So, are you going to be on this card too? Because a little birdie might have told me you can mess with Mr. Kidd.
I don't know whether or not Gabe Kidd and I would necessarily have a rematch this year around, but I know he will be in Vegas during WrestleMania week. No, well, he might be. He could be. I am working. I am going to wrestle on this show. I have not announced who my opponent will be yet, but we have a few more announcements to come. So come Monday, I think things will be a lot clearer.
Lot of fun to watch you too. Why don't you take on Eric first before whoever it is you actually fight? I'll flip you $50 to do it.
What a friend.
Gee, thanks.
I'd like to see if he can last 30 seconds with him. I don't think you can do it, Eric.
Just do my best to run away as best as I can.
Well, I gotta tell you, this is going to be an awesome show, and I can't stress enough that it is so much different than anything else you're going to see over WrestleMania week, and it is just a blast. Josh puts on a terrific card, and you get Nattie and Shayna tearing each other apart.
Can't wait to watch that.
It's just
that's gonna be wonderful and amazing.
So Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 15. Once again, that is at the Horseshoe in Las Vegas on Friday the 17th. 3 p.m. Anything else everybody needs to know about the show before we let you roll, sir?
Well, if you can't be there, we have tickets available still, so get yours before they're sold out. We will also be streaming it live on Triller Plus, on Triller TV. If you're not a Triller Plus member, they usually have free week trial subscriptions and things like that. Not to mention, I think it's something like $9 or $10 a month or something, and that gets you everything that is under that umbrella of Triller Plus. So you could watch all the old Josh Barnett Bloodsports and other GCW products and a whole list of varying wrestling shows and products. So I think the value is there. But if you can't be there live, you can watch it live.
There you go. But get down there. I'm telling you, it's going to be great.
Yes.
And you've got the horseshoe. Pretty easy to get down there usually. We'll just keep our fingers crossed during WrestleMania week, but it is going to be a lot of fun. And Josh always, like I said, always puts on a great card, a terrific show, and I can't wait to see you again, sir. It's going to be a lot of fun.
No, thanks. I'm sure you'll be quite happy with the way this turns out.
Oh, I just want to see people get hurt, not badly, but just a little.
Yeah, like your co-host.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Josh. Well, hey, thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate it. We'll see you here in Vegas in about 3 weeks, my friend.
All right. See you then.
Yes, very nice meeting you.
You as well.
Right. Have a good one. All right, there you go. Josh Barnett, everybody. Oh, Eric, that's right. You haven't seen Bloodsport, have you?
Unfortunately, I have not yet.
Oh, you better go watch some before. I mean, well, you have a choice. You can either be completely surprised at what you see, or, you might want to catch a few matches on YouTube or something. And
I'll definitely look them up and watch when I can.
It is so much fun. And it just takes wrestling more down to its core. And that's what makes it so exciting. They had Zack Sabre Jr. and Jonathan Gresham last year.
Wow. That's
those guys,
that's phenomenal.
They bend each other's bodies in ways that I did not know was possible. Well, actually, I did because I wrestled, so I could kind of comprehend it. But you will be blown away. So once again, GCW presents Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 15, Friday, April 17th, 3 p.m. Horseshoe. It's not the Palms this year. It's at the Horseshoe. But I promise you will really enjoy it. Or if you're not in Vegas, like Josh said, check it out on Triller, and it's going to be money well spent. I promise you. You're definitely going to see me down there